I'm now sitting in the small village or town of Chiaravalle, if I'm saying that correctly. Just having an espresso, and I've got a croissant here as well for breakfast, because I skipped breakfast this morning because last night I ended up wild camping under a bridge because I was very unorganized, and when I finally was kind of getting towards my final destination for the day, I found out there was basically no campsites within the next 40 kilometers of where I was, so there was really no other option. And I have been meeting quite a few other bike tourers the last couple of days and weeks, and one of the first questions they always ask you is, do you stay at campsites or do you camp in the forest? And I usually say I just camp at campsites because I don't want to get fined for wild camping, and it's also nice to have a shower and have somewhere to cook dinner and stuff. But I guess a lot of people I was meeting were wild camping, and some people did it exclusively. And since I hadn't done it since Sweden, really, well, I did it in Switzerland as well, up on that lake. But I hadn't really done it for a while anyway, so I felt like it was a good opportunity to give it another shot. And so, yeah, it was getting late in the afternoon yesterday. I had kind of almost intentionally put myself in the situation where I had no idea where I was sleeping, and I left it far too late to find somewhere. So I ended up cycling around at about 8 o'clock last night, after the sun had gone down, trying to find somewhere to pitch my tent. And kind of the first rule of wild camping, I think, is to try and find somewhere before the sun goes down so you can actually see what you're doing. So I was kind of cycling around in a field for a bit, and thought for a while of pitching in the paddock. I didn't really want to do that because it was quite exposed, but also because it's just kind of impolite to camp in someone's paddock without asking them. So eventually I did find a good spot next to the bridge. Unfortunately, it was a train line on the bridge, so at several times throughout the night trains did go overhead, and it was extremely loud. It woke me up a couple of times. But surprisingly, I had pretty good sleep, and didn't have any encounters this morning. I pretty much just woke up around 7:30 and packed my tent up straight away. So no one really had a chance to catch me, but yeah, no one was going to come and find me anyway, so the risk was pretty small. So that was kind of cool. I got to live out my fantasy of being a hobo living under the bridge. And I think although there are some good things about being a hobo, sleeping under a bridge is not the best part. So I'll try and stay clear of that again if I can. But I probably will do more wild camping because it is cool to have the freedom to just pitch your tent wherever you want and not have to worry about booking anything. I really appreciate the freedom of not really planning anything, which is what I happened to do yesterday, and yeah, it worked out not too bad. After recording the video yesterday, I set off into the sun, and it was a very hot day yesterday, and it reminded me of riding in that southern part of France along the canal with basically no shade in the sun. All day I was basically on the aero bars, which put my head down just in a straight line for most of the day. So it was pretty boring riding, and it was pretty hot and pretty tiring, just because of the sun. and I didn't have much food. I didn't have any lunch, and it was a Sunday, so I was a bit worried that I was not going to be able to get any food yesterday, and I would have to have a day of fasting. But I was able to find a supermarket which closed at 1 p.m. yesterday, so I got there around just after 12, and was able to do a big shop and get a heap of food just before they closed. So that was really lucky. So I enjoyed quite a large lunch. After that, basically gorged myself after having very little to eat in the morning, and kind of sat in the shade for a bit, hoping the sun would die down, but it didn't really. And then continued for a bit longer, riding along kind of this, like, I don't know, mound with it was like mostly gravel for probably 60 kilometers or so in the sun with no shade, and I was pretty sweaty, pretty cooked by the end of the day. I was really happy that I had that hat because I wore it basically all day, and it was really helpful for keeping the sun off my face. I think that really helped me stop me from getting burnt too much, and it was also great because it kept all the sweat out of my eyes, so now my hat's absorbed all my sweat, which is super. Along the way, I was listening to more rock history, was listening about the Sound of Silence by Simon and Garfunkel, and their kind of history as a duo, which is interesting. I listened to a bit of Hey Joe by Jimi Hendrix, which is actually a song which has many permutations before Jimi Hendrix picked it up, which is fascinating to know because I didn't know how much history is behind some of these famous songs. And you think that, you know, the artists that are most known for the songs are actually the ones who wrote them, but in a lot of cases it's not the case. There's many people before them who performed and wrote those songs. But about, 3 o'clock or so, I was cycling and I encountered a couple of girls who were actually at my campsite in the morning, and I think they were French. They had a strong French accents anyway, and I stopped and chatted to them for a bit, and they're going to Greece actually, but they're going over through the top of Italy through Venice, so they won't be going down to Rome. And I chatted to them for a bit, but I got like pretty strong vibes from them that they just didn't want me to talk to them for some reason. So I don't know, maybe it's just the French accent that I get that impression from, but I just didn't really feel like they wanted me to talk to them. So we only chatted for about a minute, and then I just said, all right, good luck, farewell, and I left, and I didn't see them again. And a couple of hours after that, I arrived in the town of Piacenza, and it was probably at 5 o'clock maybe at this point, maybe a bit earlier. But the sun was still pretty hot, and I just needed like a drink of something sugary, and it just so happens there was a Burger King just down the road, which is turning out to be one of my saviors when I need somewhere to rest. So I went in there and had a veggie burger and a Coke, and sat in there with the air conditioning and used the Wi-Fi for what ended up being a couple of hours actually, because I spent a bit of time posting all the photos from my trip of about 1,200 kilometers from Kampen down to Basel. So that's on Instagram now. Really cool to share some of those pictures, because if you don't share it, then it's kind of like it didn't happen. But I experienced it, and I sweated through it, and I pushed through it, and so it's nice to share that with everyone else a little bit. So go and watch that if you haven't already. And yeah, at that point it was like 7 o'clock and the sun was like setting, and I still had no idea where I was sleeping. So that's how I ended up sleeping under the bridge. So I hope you enjoyed that post on Instagram, because basically I slept under a bridge for it. But yeah, today, this morning so far has been pretty lame, because it's been mostly riding on the highway in the sun. And yeah, it's about 11:15 now. Just stopping here for breakfast, and then I'll keep going, but I'm not really sure where I'm going to get to today, as most days, but hopefully I can get a campsite so I can have a shower and clean myself up a bit, because I'm feeling a bit grungy. I messaged a few people on warm showers, which will hopefully host me in a couple of days' time, but nothing for tonight. So that's it. Wish me luck, and talk to you maybe tonight.